But strangely enough, there is left in the world today an area as big as the United States
that's never been seen by a human being.
The best is yet to come.
People in power lie. I already know that they lie. It's not just history per se. You know what I mean? It's everything.
Houston, we have a call.
We destroyed that technology.
People should not be walking around with masks.
That stuff is flat.
There's your flu
last year.
Here's your flu this year.
Literally doesn't even exist.
Welcome back to the Hibbeler Effect, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have him on the show. The legend, New York's finest, the member of Brand Nubian. Yeah, I know y'all saw The Sopranos with him. That was one of my favorite episodes. Give it up for Lord Jamar, guys. Welcome to the Hibbeler Effect. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Peace. Thanks for having me.
I sent you over Level with me. I'm glad that you checked that out. And
absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm glad you're on our team. You have a huge voice in this, in my opinion. In the most rated PG YouTube friendly version you can. When did that start for you? I mean, when were you like, wait a minute now? What was that first thing? Everybody has their own little path that kind of sparked it.
It was a long, long time ago as far as being a seeker of truth. You know, there were certain things that just didn't sit right with me, you know, as far as things I was being taught in religious realms. You know, my mother was first a regular Christian, then she turned to Jehovah's Witness and stayed that. You know, she's one right up until now. So all her life, I really grew up in that, with that doctrine. And there were certain things that just didn't make sense to me, you know, upon, you know, certain visuals that they showed me. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. I feel like, if they were in that part of the world, why would they look like that? They're just something's wrong here.
False history from an early age.
And so when I started to learn truthful history, it put me on a path of just always wanting to know what it really is and not what I'm being told, you know? And so that might go into diet. That might go into, you know, all facets of life.
Where we live.
You know?
Let's just be real, where we live.
Right. But see, I didn't, as someone who believed he was woke before the term was even a term, you know, back then we would say conscious. I'm conscious, you know. Conscious is a form of being awake. When you're conscious, you're awake. You're not asleep. You're not unconscious. So, you know, people in the conscious community, there's certain things that you take on face value, that you take for granted because you feel like it's a done deal. So as far as where we lived, that wasn't even really something that I was focusing on because I felt like it was we already knew where we lived.
It's a universal truth. So why discuss it? Right. Yeah.
Right. I am a member of what's known as the 5% Nation, a nation of gods and earths. And in the lessons, in your final lessons, there are a version called actual facts and solar facts, right? And these are things that you are expected to memorize in order to complete 120 degrees, in order to complete your studies. And in actual facts and solar facts, actual facts and solar facts, there's things in there that we thought were, listen to how it's presented to us, as facts, as an actual fact, followed by solar facts. So when we talk about where we lived, that was never a question to me. And the first time that I started hearing about the term flat earth, quite frankly, I thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can find a video of me on this, a guy who I used to go on his show a lot. I don't want to say his name, but I used to go on his show a lot. And he asked me about that. And I said, are you being ridiculous? Like, don't ask me no stupidness like that.
Yeah.
And let's move on. Yeah. But it was my brother, my physical brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was on the show when me and ODD and Dave had you guys on there. Yeah, he's a great guy.
And he's my youngest brother. My youngest brother. I'm the oldest. I'm usually the leader in knowledge. You know what I mean? Like he got knowledge himself, in the 5% Nation because of me. Like, you know what I mean? Because I was a leader in the community and all of that type of shit.
Yeah.
And, both of my brothers just followed my footsteps in that regard. Anyway, he was the one that came to me and was like, yo, I'm telling you, you need to look into this shit. Like, there's a lot of things that we take for granted that I'm telling, just look into it. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna look into this. So I started going into it as a lot of intelligent people do. I went into it with the thought of trying to disprove it.
Yeah, and you probably, well, I can't speak for you. Did you go into it initially? Because I've talked to some people that did this and they still came out a flat earther, but they went into it kind of closed-minded. Like they were trying to shut it down before they even saw anything. They were just like, let me see what I can find to shut this shit down and move on. Was that your approach?
Pretty much. I mean, well, because my brother said, because I love and trust my brother, I know that he's very intelligent. The fact that he was like, let's look in, just look into it. I'm telling you, there's something here. Like, you know what I mean? That made me maybe a little more open than I would have been prior to that. But I still was going into it very skeptically and going into it, I'm going to disprove this immediately. They're going to say some shit and I'm going to boom, 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 boom. And the more I studied, the more I realized what I didn't know about the model that I so believed in. I didn't realize that they taught us this shit in like 3rd grade, and we just took it as actual fact.
Well, they start teaching it, Jamar. They start teaching it in kindergarten too. So if you think about it, that's one of the first things a kindergartner is taught. Is they usually give some big giant, blow up ball, and then this is where you live, take it home, and all this shit. So and these little kids are like, when's playtime? When's recess? Where like what's 1 + 1 is 2? I just learned that. You're shoving this in my face, like. So again, those kids at that age, and us too. Well, not me with my mom. She didn't teach us no Santa shit. But most kids, you already accept Santa. You already accept Tooth Fairy. You already so yeah. Why wouldn't you accept some outer space shit and some ball Earth shit? I mean that's the perfect. That's why they get them. Could you imagine being taught that a senior in high school?
Right, but see, listen. Even in third grade, I vividly remember questioning certain things like, so you telling me people are upside down? And then it's like, and then a part of you is like, you know what? They say gravity. Hey, they know better than me. They're scientists. They're grown-ups. Yeah. No, first they're grown-ups. True. Secondly, they're scientists, which is like a higher level of a grown-up.
You could do scientists like with that, though.
Yeah, the scientists are the smartest of the grown-ups. So me, as a 3rd grader, who am I to even question this? So, oh, well, okay, I guess it is. Let's just move on. I want to pass my class. I want to go to 4th grade. Like, why would I even? But then they intrigue you with space. So then I remember being intrigued by space, right? I loved Star Trek and stuff like that as a child. But the movie that really pulled us all in and visually made us say, the movie that made me say, aha, I knew there was something out there, was Star Wars.
Of course. Yeah. I knew you were going to say Star Wars.
Star Wars was the movie that visually captured us and made us believe in outer space.
Yeah.
And that in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
A Big Bang.
You know,
yeah.
The Big Bang. See, there are people, of course. Why would we be so stupid to think with all the planets in the world, in the universe, that we'd be the only ones that have life? Like that's the idiotic. But see, that's something that they planted into the psyche.
Oh yeah.
And we all parried it. We all parroted it. We don't know who's the first one that said it, but somebody, probably a CIA agent, is the one that first put that into the lexicon and had people saying, with all the planets in the universe, why would you think that we're the only ones with life? But yet you can't show me another planet that
with
even
life.
in your model,
with life. Let's keep it real. With life
that has life, or that even has the conditions that can sustain life as we know it.
No, it's all cartoons. That's the thing. I mean, I think we'd all be okay with it if it wasn't all cartoons, if it wasn't all made up. Like, no one's against it. It doesn't exist. It's just made up.
Once I realized it was all cartoons, once I realized it was all just some bullshit,
I call it black magic trickery.
It really made me understand the level, because I already know how, people in power lie. I already know that they lie, but it's not just history per se. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's everything.
Everything. And we're taught
everything.
And we're taught.
Like they lie about the biggest, smallest things.
And we're taught the opposite about almost everything in life and reality and nature. We're actually taught the opposite almost to the T. Everything, diet,
right,
health, everything. We're taught the opposite of the truth.
For instance, right? When we're taught numbers, we start from the number 1, when really you're supposed to start from 0. Now, we're also taught that 0 is nothing, when actually 0 is everything.
People just don't know.
0 is what signifies the whole. Yeah. That's why you don't jump from 9 to 11 or 21, because the 0 represents the whole of the new level that you're at.
Yep.
So when you're in the 1 level, from 1 to 9, you have 10. Now you're at a next level. Now you go 11, 12. When you get to the next, then you're at a next. So the 0, the cipher is what we call it.
Nice.
Is that represents the whole of something. And the numbers are just the division of the whole. But they teach you that that 0 means nothing, which is very confusing.
Try to multiply a number by 0. Tell me the answer every fucking time.
Exactly.
I just had to. I had to.
So it's like just little shit like that, like, will make you see the world in a wrong perspective. Yeah. Just because you gave me a wrong premise in the beginning. And the whole premise that all the planets are round, is a premise that's not true. The only round things you're really seeing is the sun and moon.
Yeah, but I tell people a quarter is also round. So we have to be, us as truthers and leaders, we need to be specific with our wording for some of these dumbasses, because there's a difference between a circle and a sphere.
Exactly.
And they
So
act
something
like,
could be round,
yeah,
and that doesn't mean it's a sphere.
and that's why people
even-
always say the Earth has always been round, and I'm like, it could be a round circle. I don't know, but it's not a sphere.
Right. Life exists inside the egg, not on the outside. You've never seen an egg with the yolk on the sticking to the outside, going all the way around. You've never seen that. Life exists inside the egg. And if you wish to shine a light inside and to see inside the egg, guess what you're going to see? You're going to see a level. You're going to see the yolk
circle
level inside of the egg. You're not going to, it doesn't even fill the full egg.
Not only that, bro, but obviously, as you know, I mean, all water, period, doesn't matter what kind
finds its level.
Yeah, no, that's the point. I mean, look at a spirit level. I mean, what's that bubble? It's water. It's liquid. It's leveling out. That's how we build things. It's how train tracks get laid down. You think train track people are out there for hundreds of miles like, okay, 8 inches per mile squared, so we got to slant the next track down. It is fucking flat and level for hundreds of miles. None of that exists. No one does that. No one plans that. Even when people talk about snipers, you think they're about to snipe somebody and they're like, okay, let's do the math. The math of the curvature of the earth. No, they're about to snipe you. They're not, none of that's happening. They know how to snipe. You lead it.
The only thing that you really gotta see, they lie and say shit about the earth spinning and all of that when it comes to sniper school. But really, all you have to account for is bullet drift. The fact that the bullet is going to decrease velocity over a certain amount of time, and it's going to drop as it does that. It has nothing to do with the earth spinning or anything like that. It all has to do with the energy of the bullet and how it dissipates over time and distance. That's it.
Well, again, I mean, even if we could pretend like you did earlier with the Earth's a sphere, we could pretend the Earth's a sphere and spinning 1,000 miles an hour. You're going to shoot a bullet going against the spin of the Earth. Explain that. I mean, it's like, there's so many different, I mean, we know there's so many different flaws in the heliocentric model. You could make a book of nothing but flaws in the model that don't come down and conform to our reality. And no one's ever seen these evidence factoids of the heliocentric model to say, no, I did see that once. Bro, we would see shooting stars coming up the horizon at all times. You go to the beach and see the horizon and you'd see stars coming straight up the horizon. It's zero times has that happened, because we're not a ball in space. If we were a ball in space, that's the easiest way to prove it.
Right. And they're talking about more land beyond beyond
that's
what we already know.
Yeah, I mean, we know there's 7 continents.
They talk about Atlantis had different circles within circles within circles. What if Atlantis was really a story for the whole Earth? You understand what I'm saying?
Now, in your opinion, obviously, we don't have proof. It's okay to speculate, but do you, in your heart, in your soul, when you close your eyes, do you see more land out there that they've been hiding from us? Do you see that? Can you feel that? Because I do for sure, 100%.
I feel that we are most likely on if not an infinite plane, a very vast plane. And when you talk about extraterrestrials, I mean, they're telling you the name right there, extra terrain, extra land is what terrestrial means.
And they're probably humans, to be honest.
And they're probably humans.
Different looking humans.
Or humans that maybe the biblical humans that we heard about. And there were many different types back then. They said there were giants back then. There were,
I agree.
There were people that lived to 900, 1,000 years and all of that type of shit.
I agree.
What happened to all of that? Maybe some of these people went, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm very much a believer in, I don't believe in this whole all life started in Africa and all of that type of shit, because that's where they're trying to say that we started as monkeys and all of that.
Yeah, no.
You know, I'm more into you know, how Brother Sanchez says how things started in the center, and the center is the North Pole.
Yes.
And that's most likely where the Garden of Eden was at.
Yeah.
At the north, and that's another place you're not allowed to go to, is the real North Pole. Okay, because what I believe is there, based on my research, is that there's a magnetic mountain there, okay, that's surrounded by a whirlpool of water, which is where all the waters come from on the earth, and everything is filtered, like the earth, just like your body, is in a constant state of homeostasis. So all of this shit about carbon production and we can pollute the earth, we can't pollute the fucking earth. No. That's a fucking lie. They're lying to you.
Yes.
But now they're gonna carbon tax you and tell you can't go here and there.
Global warming. Oh, global warming too.
We've been living on the earth for how long? And now all of a sudden, all of this is a problem.
Well, it's weather control. They're the ones creating it. It's weather control. It's them manipulating our realm and blaming it on Mother Nature. No, Mother Nature is perfect. Fuck you. Mother Nature is perfect. You guys are the ones fucking it up, you know? I mean, it's humans.
They created sunscreen, Hibbeler, in the 1930s. By the 1950s, people are getting melanoma, and you're going to blame the sun? That's been here for thousands of years, and it's the sun's fault?
The sun is causing it.
Get the fuck out of here!
Knowing damn well that melanin will extend your life. Get the fuck out of here. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life, man. And I'll tell you, man, I got a few juicy topics to get into with you, especially the Minnesota event with the cop and the guy on the ground and the knee. And we're going to go over to Rockfin, guys. I really want to get in a little bit of that talk. So we're going to head over to Rockfin. Thank you for joining me on the Hibbeler Effect. Thanks to Lord Jamar. Thank you, YouTube. Hopefully we see you over there. Thank you.